Okay, one quick housekeeping thing. When we're done here this morning, and I'm the last thing that separates you from the hill and lunch, so bear with me here. One quick housekeeping thing. Make sure you bring your name tag with you because you need that to get on the gondola ride up to the top of the mountain. So make sure you have a name tag with you. We wrap up here, go quickly out there, and we'll get things back on track. I'll go fast. I was going to spend some time running through a summary of this morning, but I'm going to summarize it this way. I'm actually going to summarize it to you with a question. And I've had no caffeine in about 4 or 5 days. I'm not under the influence of anything. But is there anyone else other than me who's ready to tear the fucking roof off this place to go get this business? I mean, I've seen these presentations one by one, but to sit here and think about the ammunition that we're taking out there, what does it feel like to be on the other side of this business? They've got to be shaking in their boots. Listen, I've got just a couple slides to go after here. I'm going to give us just a short little history lesson, and I'll get us on our way to more fun things this afternoon. So, folks, just real quick, this has been a journey for us. This slide is a slide that Stanley Black & Decker was introduced to, call it 3 years ago or so. A lot of detail around it. At the end of the day, that fiery red side of the slide, the vicious slide, is where as a business or a region or a country, you don't want to be there. You want to be in the green slide, the virtuous slide. So when I first saw this, I looked at it and I thought, wow, it would really suck to be sitting on the red side of that. I mean, you're chasing bad business, your volume's going sideways, investment cuts, etc. Not a great place to be, and it's just a circle that keeps going if you can't get yourself out of it. Well, as we moved along, that's where Canada was 4 or 5 years ago. We were sitting on that red side of the page. We were exactly in that mess, chasing our tail, trying to find our way. Well, we had to make a lot of tough decisions. We made decisions that included 3 price increases in an 18-month period. We made changes to our organization. We followed SFS. We did a lot of strong margin management activity, and at the end of the day, where did that put us? We're now on the green side of the page. This is the page that I was able to share with a leadership conference last week, and Canada, after being the poster child on the vicious side of the page, we've now become the model for where you want to be in an organization. And talk about investment. You know, sometimes we're too close to it, but I can tell you this. In 2016, we invested in territory managers, we invested in ICS, we invested in marketing, we invested in digital, we invested in operations. We were investing. I received calls from my boss 3 times in 2016 throughout the year. Joe, your business looks great. How can we invest more money in Canada to keep you guys growing? Unbelievable spot for us to be in. Now that we're on that side, we got to stay there, which means we got to keep growing, we're going to keep investing, and keep moving forward. So what does the vision show here over the last year or so and into 2017? Well, a couple years ago, this number here on your left is what I showed you. We were going to get to $500 million 2015. 2016, we're at $560. Now, 2017, I've got a number up here of $600 million. $600 million does not include anything from Craftsman or Irwin and Lennox. Not included in that number. And I can tell you this. Irwin Lennox, at their high water mark a few years ago, historical numbers, they were bumping up to $40 million. So I think we're going to blow through that $600 million number in 2017. And again, I think all of you would agree that everything that we've seen here in the last few hours got more than enough ammunition to make that happen. But where does that take us now? So look, as an organization, Stanley Black & Decker overall, all the regions, we want to provide a vision on where we want to take this business. Our vision in Canada is this. If we continue to do all the right things with regards to growing our core, aggressive outperform activities, looking at e-commerce, great relationships with our customers, continuing to squeeze that SFS platform to find efficiencies and grow profit. The bottom line is this. I don't come here to play, come here to win. By the end of 2020, this region is going to be a $1 billion region. $1 billion by the end of 2020. Now, I'll tell you this. When I first introduced this to my leadership team, I had a lot of people looking at me like I was crazy. But when you sit down and break it out, as the number of the slide I just shared with you earlier, if you take your $600 million, you start layering on what we're going to gain with the acquisitions that we've made. You start layering on how we're going to get to double-digit growth between now and 2020. Let me tell you, you add up to $1 billion pretty quickly. I believe it's in the cards for this organization to get there. It's a big goal, but I have never had more confidence in everyone sitting in this room. And I can tell you, our parent organization has never had more confidence in this country, this region, and this business. So I believe we're going to get there. Now, we reach that time of the night. You know, some of you know where we are now, right, in this presentation. So I think I shared with you guys a couple of years ago that I retired from hockey coaching, but just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in, right? They called me to go back and coach a team that didn't have anyone stepping up to coach them with the same organization that I was involved with earlier. So I said, sure, I'll take this on. Bit of a different situation, though. Different situation in that I didn't have any affinity to the team, right? I'm just a guy coming out coaching a hockey team. They didn't know me. I didn't know them. I was just there to run a good program. Now, interestingly enough, with this age group that I took on, I had 2 jobs being the hockey coach that year. First one was the one that's the easy one to come up with, right? Meaning, you need to teach these kids how to play good hockey. Make them better hockey players when the season's over than it was when they started. Make it a winning season, a fun place to be. Second job I had was I had to win over the parent community. I had to make them feel like this was a good place for their kids to be. This was a good place to nurture, a good place to play hockey. So I had those 2 jobs to get after. I started this off with a parent meeting. No players, just parents. I shared with them the program. Here's what we're going to do, tournaments, etc. And then I got to the pluses and minuses, the X's and O's of hockey. And I said, look, I like to run a simple program. I'm only going to teach the kids one thing this season, just one thing. I'm going to teach them how to back check. And talk about letting the air out of a balloon. So these parents don't know me, I don't know them, and I tell them that the one thing I'm going to teach their kids how to do is how to back check. You could cut the tension in the room. So one dad puts up his hand and he says, look, I got to ask you, if there's one thing you're going to coach him, why do you want to coach him how to back check? Now, for anyone in this room who doesn't know what back checking is in hockey, shame on you. Back checking is learning how to play without the puck. You're basically chasing the other guy down, in its simplest term, to win back the puck. So this dad asked me the question. I said, look, good question. I'll answer that question 2 ways, or with 2 answers. The first one is, I'm pretty sure that the other 13 teams in our division, not one of those other coaches is teaching their players how to back check. I'm pretty sure of that based on my experience. Second thing is, I have learned in my experience that teaching them a simple program, something that's got a lot of basis to it, though, is the difference in winning big games. At this point, they didn't have any confidence in me. They weren't really hearing what I said, but let's run off to the season. So speed forward, we get through the season. Season's done. We finished 3rd out of 14 teams. We won a tournament. And we made it to the semifinals. We were eliminated in the semifinals. So we were in the top 4. We made it to the Final 4 in the playoff. We were eliminated in the semifinals. Not good enough. The parents still weren't hearing what we had, still weren't hearing what we were able to do in the program that we offered. I had one final chance. We had one tournament to end the season. And it was on the Sunday, about 8 or 9 days before, families had to determine or declare where they wanted to play next season. So I thought, this is it. I got one more chance to make an impression on these families to keep them here. So we make it to the finals of that tournament. Sunday afternoon, we're the finalists. We're playing a team that we have played before in a previous tournament, and they spanked us. 8-2, 7-2, something like that. And I'll say this, they're far better than we are. They're bigger. They skate faster. They've been together longer. They're a better team. So certainly we had our work cut out for us. So anyway, game begins. 5 minutes into the game, we're losing 3-0. Now, think about being in a final game, 5 minutes in, last game of the season, you're losing 3-0. Now, my eyes were fixed on the players on the ice, but I was also looking at the parents in the stands because that's who I was trying to win over in this as well. And, obviously at this point, it's not looking good. So as a head coach, I had to do one thing in that game that a head coach hates to do in the first period of a final game. I had to call a timeout. I only get one. 5 minutes into the game, I call my timeout. I bring the boys over. They come to the bench. First thing I said to them was, everyone okay? Anyone's hurt? They're barely looking at me. And I said, okay, boys, listen, we're going to win this game. Got their attention. They look up. We're going to win this game. But I said, listen, there's one thing, just one thing I've been teaching you all season. Someone tell me what that is. Little Alan Lee puts up his hand, looks at me, and he says, Coach Joe, whether we win or lose, we're still champions? No. I didn't teach you that. Maybe your grandma did when you went home, but I haven't taught you that. I said, come on, guys. What's the one thing I've been teaching you all season? Sean puts up his hand. Back check. Back checking. You guys are watching the other team. Do what I've taught you to do. Back check. And I promise you, if you keep doing good things are going to happen. They get out there. First period ends 3-1. Second period ends 3-1. Now, I'm still looking up at the stands, looking on the ice, haven't really accomplished anything yet. I remember looking up, thinking to myself, if I could just find a way to get this game into overtime, who knows what can happen in overtime. Third period starts, with about 8 minutes left in the game. Now, this is a true story. You guys, people always ask me, is this true? Yeah, I'm not smart enough to make this shit up. It's true. 8 minutes left in the game. There's a scramble at center ice. One of our guys takes the puck, fires it in. One of their guys picks it up. He's coming out from his own zone. A hard back check behind him. We take the puck, go down, and score in a breakaway, 3-2. Now there's about 5 minutes left in the game. Now, when there's 5 minutes left in the game, it's a championship game, final period, what does the coach want to do? I'm down by a goal. I want to call a timeout. I don't have any more timeouts. I grab one of my defensemen, Sean, go to the goalie, tell him to untie his skate, and call the ref. This kid is looking up at me like, what? Get out there, tell Luca to untie his skate and call the ref. He goes out. You see him go out, talk to the goalie. The goalie standing there talking to him. The goalie looks up at me, and I'm just nodding, saying yes. Reaches down, unties his skate, calls the ref. Ref comes over and says, time, send one of your assistant coaches out to help the goalie tie his skate. Whew. Okay, I bring the boys over. I want 2 guys on the puck. Every time they've got it, 2 guys on the puck. Puck drops, battle again around the center ice area. Puck squeezes out. We've got a breakaway. We get tripped. Penalty shot. 3-3. We score. Tie the game. I look up at the parent community. They're losing their minds. They're losing their minds. Now I'm thinking, okay, now I've got this, but the last thing I want is, I don't want to lose this thing on something silly. Let's hang on for 3 minutes. Let's bring this thing to OT, and let's see what we can figure out. But a minute and a half left in the game, mad scramble, bodies flying in front of the net. I'm looking over. I just see the puck roll over the goal line. We take a 4-3 lead. Unbelievable. The other bench is losing their mind. Popcorn's flying everywhere. The parent community's going crazy. We win it. Unbelievable. I got to say, in all my years of coaching, even though my son wasn't part of that, for me, that was fantastic that we were able to pull that out. And this is what I'd suggest to you. For everything that we did that we knew was good through that season, there were still, in that case, the parent community, they weren't really hearing us. We were doing a lot of good things, headed in the right direction, but they weren't really hearing us. Kind of reminds me of where we are. right? We've gone through 3 years of a lot of ridiculous trench digging, hard work. The advice that I was always given from Jeff Ansell was, Joe, you're in the middle of hell. But when you're in the middle of hell, you can't turn around and go back. You just got to keep going, which is exactly what we did. And dare I say, for a lot of that time, we just weren't getting a lot of that recognition. We knew we were doing well. I knew we were doing all the right things, but we just weren't getting that recognition. Well, now, in 2017, it's time to turn the page and move to a new chapter. If I think back, 4 years ago, not a lot of confidence in the Canadian organization, not a lot of confidence in our ability and what we're able to do. It was all about trying to figure out how we can. In 2015, I was just asking people, just believe in yourselves. Believe in what you can do. Believe in what this company can do. Believe that we will achieve whatever you have to. In 2016, with all the hurdles that we faced, the goal that we had, when I was asked the question, the answer was, we will. We will get there, and we did. Now we move to 2017, and I guarantee you this in 2017. People are going to hear us. Our customers are going to hear us. Our end users are going to hear us. And our competition is going to hear us in 2017. Thank you.